Good afternoon. And in spite of all the efforts of our doctors and nurses and our medical staff, we're now seeing cancer treatments sadly postponed, ambulances queuing, and intensive care units spilling over into adjacent wards. And with 55,761 positive cases since yesterday and, very sadly, 1,280 deaths, this is not the time for the slightest relaxation of our national resolve and our individual efforts. Relaxation of our national resolve and our individual efforts. And it's precisely because we have the hope of that vaccine and the risk of new strains coming from overseas that we must take additional steps now to stop those strains from entering the country. So yesterday we announced that we're banning flights from South America and Portugal, and to protect us against the risk of as yet unidentified new strains, we will also temporarily close all travel corridors from 0400 hours on Monday. Following conversations with the devolved administrations, we will act together so that this applies across the whole of the UK.
Next week. Next slide, please. Still later,
we've now vaccinated over 3.2 million people across the UK, doubling the numbers of last week. That's 2.8 million people in England, 225,000 in Scotland, 126,000 in Wales, and 115,000 in Northern Ireland. Yesterday alone, we vaccinated around 250,000 people in England, and that is still far more than any other country in Europe. In the population, we've now vaccinated over 3.2 million people across the UK.
And what you can see on this slide is the number is extremely high. We're still at the place where just shy of 1 in 50 people has COVID, according to ONS data, the most recent that has been published. But there is now some levelling off in the cases. This is earlier in the bits of the country which were in Tier 4 for longest. But we are seeing some levelling off everywhere, as far as we can see, including the areas which entered lockdown more recently. This is thanks to enormous efforts by so many people.
It has been thinking about for a long time. I think the answer